Polar bear versus Kodiak bear. Who would win in a fight between the two largest living bears? Well, watch to the end to find out, since this is gonna be a very interesting video. First up, we have the male Kodiak bear. These bears are considered the largest subspecies of brown bears and are omnivorous but tend to favor meat like fish. They mainly live in forested areas near water sources on the islands of the Kodiak Archipelago. A typical male Kodiak bear can grow between 700 to 1400 pounds, with the average weight being around 1,000 pounds. However, their weight can vary based on the season. A Kodiak bear can stand between 8 to 10 feet tall on its hind legs, 4.5 feet tall on all fours, and is around 8 feet long. When it comes to weapons, the Kodiak bear has strong, long forelimbs with massive paws to help support their huge build. Their paws can measure up to 16 inches long and 11 inches wide. They are equipped with long, curved claws that measure up to 4 inches in length, which are used to help them dig, forage for food, and of course injure their opponents. The Kodiak bear also has a massive skull that measures around 25 inches long, which is filled with sharp canine teeth. Having such a large skull gives this bear a strong bite force just shy of 2000 psi, with the bite force quotient being around 99. This allows the Kodiak bear to easily sink its teeth into its prey and bite through bone. When it comes to defense, the Kodiak bear has thick hide, lots of fat, and large amounts of muscle. On average, the forelimbs and upper body is stronger than that of the polar bear. This is due to its structure and large hump on its back, which are muscles specifically dedicated for its arm movements. They also use their forelimbs in more diverse actions like digging, hunting, fighting, swimming, and foraging for berries, compared to the polar bear, which mainly uses its forelimbs for hunting and swimming. So, overall, the Kodiak bear would have a really good defense. As for speed, Kodiak bears are said to run up to 35 miles per hour in short bursts, and since they are around the same size as the polar bear, I would say would have around the same agility. However, the Kodiak bear has superior stamina when fighting on land. When it comes to fighting knowledge, Kodiak bears fight with other members of their own species and take down deers and small land mammals. So, overall, the Kodiak bear would have an okay amount of fighting knowledge. Alright, let's move on to the male polar bear. This beast mainly lives in the Arctic Circle and are the apex predators of their environment. They mainly hunt seals and walruses, but also scavenge carcasses away from other animals. A typical male polar bear can weigh between 800 to 1400 pounds, with the average weight being around 1,000 pounds. However, their weight can vary based on the season. A polar bear can stand between 8 to 10 feet tall on their hind legs, 4 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder on all fours, and is between 7 to 8 feet long. So, the Kodiak bear and the polar bear would be very similar in size, with the polar bear slightly edging out the Kodiak bear in terms of weight, but not to a significant degree. When it comes to weapons, polar bears have strong, long forelimbs with large paws that can measure up to 12 inches across. Their paws are equipped with sharp, curved claws that can grow around 2 inches in length. They are used to gain traction in their environment and grip onto their prey when hunting. In general, the polar bear's claws are considered sharper and more curved than the Kodiak bear's claws, but are shorter in length. Along with having strong forelimbs, polar bears have sharp teeth that are specifically designed for a hypercarnivorous diet. They have a pretty powerful bite force, with it being around 2000 psi depending on the size of the bear. The polar bear having such a powerful bite allows it to cut through the thick fat and tough hide of its prey. It also has a bite force quotient of 92, which is pretty impressive, but the Kodiak bear's bite force quotient comes to 99. This means that pound for pound, the bite force of the Kodiak bear is greater than that of the polar bear. Also, the Kodiak bear's skull structure is generally more robust than that of the polar bear. A link will be in the description as to where it got that information. Regardless, both of these bears can severely injure one another with their bites. When it comes to defense, polar bears have thick hide, fur, and fat that measures up to 4.5 inches thick, covering their body, which helps keeps them warm in their cold environment. In general, polar bears have more fat and a better system of insulation compared to the Kodiak bear, which is the main reason why the polar bear is considered the largest living land carnivore. So, overall, since the polar bear does have a slight weight advantage against the Kodiak bear, I would say it has a better defense, but not to a significant degree. As for speed, polar bears can run up to 25 miles per hour in short bursts and can swim up to 6 miles per hour. However, they overheat rather quickly due to their good insulation system and large amounts of fat. So, if the fight is prolonged, it would be a disadvantage for the polar bear. When it comes to fighting knowledge, polar bears actively hunt walruses, seals, and fight with other members of their own species. They solely rely on a carnivorous way of life, unlike the Kodiak bear. So, overall, I think the polar bear slightly edges out the Kodiak bear in this aspect as well. Alright, we have our stats. So, who would win in a fight between a Kodiak bear and a polar bear? Let's say this battle takes place on an open field. This would be a very close fight, but I would say the Kodiak bear slightly edges out the polar bear majority of the time in a head-on fight. The Kodiak bear is nearly the same size as the polar bear, and generally has stronger forelimbs, longer claws, and a more robust skull structure. It also has more stamina since the polar bear tends to overheat when exerting a lot of energy due to their really good insulation system.